மருத்துவ பெருவழியில் தான் தேர்ந்தெடுத்த தனித்துறையில் உன்னதம் எய்தி தாய்மை, குழந்தைப்பேறு, பெண் மருத்துவம் ஆகிய துறைகளில் 4 தசாப்தங்களுக்கு மேலாக பணியாற்றி வரும் சர் சபாரட்னம் அருள்குமரன் பிரித்தானிய மருத்துவ கவுன்சிலில் சர்வதேச மகப்பேற்று மருத்துவர் சம்மேளனம் ஆகியவற்றின் தலைமை பதவியை அலங்கரித்தவர். பேராசிரியரது அரும்பணிக்காக 2009ஆம் ஆண்டில் இங்கிலாந்தின் முடிக்குரிய மகாராணி இவருக்கு சர் பட்டம் வழங்கி கௌரவம் செய்தார். பல ஆண்டுகளுக்கு பின்னர் இந்த சிறப்பினை பெற்ற இலங்கை தமிழரான சர் சபாரட்னம் அருள்குமரன் வாழ்க்கையின் மகத்துவத்தை பகவத்கீதையினூடாக விளக்கி தமது ஏற்புரையை நிகழ்த்தியது வெள்ளி விழாவின் உச்சமாக அமைந்தது.
Thank you for everyone who is present here. First, I would like to welcome our chief guest, Honourable Glenn Murray, Minister of Environment and Climate Change, our guest of honour, Madam Pam McConnell, Deputy Mayor of the City of Toronto, of course Mr. Thiru Thirichelvam, Editor-in-Chief, and his wife Mrs. Thirichelvam, and all the sub-editors and managers for the Tamils Information, ladies, gentlemen, and friends. When Mr. Thirichelvam asked me to give a talk, and this morning he sent me the names of the chief guest and the guest of honor, so I couldn't just resist but go to the Google and see what they have done. So I was just telling Mr. Honourable Minister, perhaps I should not say anything at all, I should go and sit, because what he has achieved and Pam has achieved is much more numerous than what I have done. So thank you very much. It was mentioned about the Queen's Award to me as a night bachelor, but they have got the Diamond Jubilee Award, both of them. So it's a great honor to know that and also to have the link with the United Kingdom. So it's a great pleasure. So as my task, actually, I would like to first thank Professor Chandrakanthan for the kind introduction, which was very kind of him to elaborate all my activities. When we discussed with Mr. Thiru, he wanted me to say a few words about receiving this award. So it's really a great pleasure to get the Silver Jubilee Award. And rather than saying what I have done, I thought I would say a few words about the philosophy which drives people to do things, and especially taking my life as an example. I think the first philosophy I learned, I will just repeat this in 3 so that you can remember. The first is actually to have trust, faith, and respect to God, parents, and teachers. I know Pam will appreciate teachers, because teachers are like ladders. Thousands of children get their knowledge and wisdom and they reach the top, whereas the teachers remain as ladders forever. So I would like to appreciate the contribution by my parents. It was mentioned, Mrs. Nyanambihai Sabaratnam and my father. My great teachers from Marjana College, Jaffna Central, and the medical school, from whom I learnt a lot. The second is actually to talk the philosophy about how we start life. And there were a few words mentioned to me by my father, which I can't forget. And he said, I would like to hear people coming and telling that your son is a postman, but he's a good man, rather than hearing he's a consultant, but he's nasty and hot-tempered. Which says 3 things to me, which is actually, whatever vocation you take, there should be commitment, compassion, and also respectful communication, because those 3 will win the hearts and minds of people wherever you work, and you will be able to succeed as a leader and also as a team player. So that was my early lessons from my father. The second lesson was some philosophy, which I tend to read following my father-in-law, Dr. Muthuthambi, was always advising me to read something about philosophy. And Dalai Lama, who is a well-known religious leader, was asked by a South American journalist as to which is the best religion. And he said, all the religions are the same. They try to make an individual a better person. So the journalist was puzzled and said, what do you really mean by making somebody a better person? And he said, the thoughts have to be good and creative. The words you speak has to be good, and people should appreciate it. And every day you must try and do some good things. You create some positive vibrations in the world. So think about good things, say good things, and do good things. So you have to set first thing in the morning, that's what you're going to do. And I always keep that in mind when I start my prayers. I must do something good for the day. And when I come back, I recap. I wear a small chain with a small emblem of the God, and when I take a bath, when I put it on, I think about that. When I take it before I go to bed, I think about it, just as a reminder. So that is actually a good philosophy to think about. The second philosophy in my working life was from Bhagavad Gita, because Gita is, as you all know, is about the discipline of life. And three things which came to me again when I came here. First is actually to say that if you want to do something, you must aim what you want to do. You must have your vision and a mission and concentrate on whatever you want to do. And you must do it fully, and you must have the confidence and the conviction to do it. There was a famous lecturer called Swami Parthasarathi, and I used to listen to his tapes. And what he says is actually, if somebody comes and asks you, there is a job available in this company. One is a job of a head clerk, and one is a job of a manager. I'm not sure which one I should apply. That means he is not fit enough to be a manager. So you must make up your mind whenever you want to really do something, that you have the confidence to do something. When I was invited to Nottingham, many of my colleagues told me, well, I think they just want to fill the number of people who are coming for the interview, so they're calling me. So I said, okay. And I went there and I got the job, and then St. George's invited me. Then, as mentioned, the colleagues wanted me to be the president of the Royal College, which is very rare indeed, the first from outside the United Kingdom, and then the British Medical Association, and then the International Federation of Obstetrics and Gynecology. And that is all because I had the conviction that I can do it. And doing is not just going and sitting on the chair, but you have to plan it well. Planning is power. So before I took the chair in Nottingham, I visited the university at least 6 times, met various people, the administrators, the doctors, the nurses, the midwives, the managers, and put a plan. How much will it cost in terms of money, of people, and how can I improve the current setup? What should we do by knowing other things? And the same which I did for the other issues. So the first philosophy of Bhagavad Gita is you have to really know what you're doing, you must be committed, and you should really plan well and execute it well. The second philosophy I learned was, whatever job you do, there will be irritations. The secretary wants to type the letter, some miscommunication, some problem. But if you get agitated about things, then you will never perform well. I think you have to really, and what it says in the Bhagavad Gita is, the disturbances when you walk towards a goal are like pinpricks in life. If you had to just brush it off, if you take them as arrows shooting on your leg and try to take it out and see who shot and I must go behind that chap, you will never reach to the end. So the obstacles have to be tackled, and you must not forget the main goal. The third, which I learned from Bhagavad Gita, is you can't be greedy about everything. In our profession, in medicine, if you want to do private practice, you can earn a lot of money. If you want to do academic medicine, like what I did, clinical medicine, research and teaching, you will be recognized by what you achieve. And I was fascinated by research and teaching, because whatever you do is going to help much more people rather than you concentrating on 1 or 2 issues. And there again, the Bhagavad Gita's explanation is, there are people who want to have a house near the sea, house near the mountain, they want houses and houses and houses. And if they are so busy in earning so much of money, they have no time to go and stay there. So it says that fools build houses and wise men live in it. And that was quite a solitary lesson. When I was growing up, I thought, well, I better forget about the money and concentrate on what I want to do, which I like to do, which is, life is comfortable. I won't say I'm rich and famous, but I'm recognized. I will use that phrase rather than that. So that is actually, thank you. The third philosophy which I wanted to, so I'm trying to develop my theme during my young age, working life, and now I'm coming close to my retirement age, so your refreshment is near. And that is actually when I was working in Singapore, there was a Minister of Health who came and addressed an audience. And he's a Chinese, Professor George Yeo, and he said that the God gives here, that there are three important things for human beings. And money, everybody will agree, time, and energy. Energy means health and happiness. To do things energetically, you must be healthy, you must be happy. Otherwise, you won't be able to do some things. And also there are three stages of human, that is young age, middle age, and old age. Young age is when we are studying. Middle age is when you are working. And old age is when you are retired. And the God gives you only two things at a time. When you're young, He gives you the time and the energy, but no money. In the middle age, you have got money, whatever you can earn, and energy. You're running and running and earning money, but no time. And when you're old age, you've got the money and the time, but no energy. Because the issue is that people are living longer, and as time goes on, the disease process, whether it is cardiac disease or stroke or whatever, cancer starts climbing up, arthritis and so on. So if you keep on working, then you will never enjoy life, because you need time to enjoy life. And the best transition is actually after 45, you have to put a 5-year plan and say, put the equation, how much of money have you got, how much of time, how much of energy, and you can trade off time for money because you want to enjoy the energies, the happiness there. And one of my actuarial friends told me that he has made his calculations, and if you are comfortable in the way you are living, and if you can get 60 to 70% of that money when you retire, then you will be comfortable. Of course, you might have to cut down 1 or 2 holidays, but you'll be comfortable. And my children were in the United Kingdom studying, and my parents were there, my wife's parents were there. And when the offer came from Nottingham, and after I heard this philosophy one night, I went back, took a piece of paper and put 3 columns and looked at it. And I told my wife the next morning, we are moving to the UK. She said, well, you haven't got a job. They said to apply, you haven't got a job. I said, no, I'll get the job. And I said, put the house on auction and we are leaving. And of course, everything happened. So it is quite important that if you want to enjoy life, then you have to keep these 3 things in correct perspective. If you want to really earn more money, you might not be there to really enjoy it. So you have to really make sure that you put the equation, especially for those who are over 45, 50, that might be a good thing to think about. But I would like to just finish by reading out a statement, which is actually, so in summary, actually, in closing my talk, what we are thinking about is actually pray and respect God, parents and teachers, and respect your spouse and family. I must acknowledge my wife, Gayatri, who looks after the children, and myself, and my parents as well as her parents. And when you're working, think about good commitment, compassion, and respectful communication. Whenever you go out every day, think something good, talk something good, and do something good. And at work, you should have confidence in what you're doing and try to think the minor disturbances can be solved and try to concentrate on your final goals. So Robert Louis Stevenson wrote something which is very applicable to the philosophies I spoke. He says, make the best of your circumstances. No one has everything, and everyone has something of sorrow intermingled with gladness of life. The trick is to make the laughter outweigh the tears. Don't take yourself too seriously. You can't please everybody. Don't let your neighbors set your standards. Do the things you enjoy doing, but stay out of debt. Don't borrow trouble. Imaginary things are harder to bear than the actual ones. Since hate poisons the soul, do not cherish enmities, grudges. Don't hold postmortems. Don't spend your life brooding over sorrow and mistakes. Don't be one who never gets over things. Do what you can for those less fortunate than yourself. Keep busy at something. A very busy person never has time to be unhappy. Thank you for your patient listening, and I would like to wish every one of you the very best in life. Thank you.